Hello, all you wonderful fools. It's time for the Mizzah Tee Show.
Here we go, let's start the show. Hosted by Mizzah Tee. Nintendo video games, all the favorite ones for me. News and reviews, some gameplay too. Battling drones is what I do. That's it. Said I am just the show by Mizzah Tee. It's the show by Mizzah Tee.
Hey fools, T here, and I'm back with another video. And this video is going to be one of those semi-polarizing videos, I guess, because there's way too many defenses of Nintendo Switch's online. But the funny thing is that this really doesn't have to do with the online, or it shouldn't have to do with the online service. So let's talk about this. As the title suggests, I'm wondering, cloud saves, like the cloud saves themselves are good. Obviously they are a good thing to have, but I'm trying to figure out, like, because I feel like some people act like this is something new and great, or they feel like it's okay to have to pay for cloud saves, and I think that's strange. Now, yes, there are companies that do charge you for that service, but they also give you an option to not have to pay for that service. And that to me is my biggest gripe, my biggest problem with this whole cloud save things for the Switch, is that I don't believe or feel like they should be tied into the service, especially if there's no other way to back up your saves. Now, again, I could hold Nintendo to other company standards, and some people will say, well, you know, Nintendo, they're a games only company, they don't have the, you know, they don't have the bandwidth, they don't have the reach, they don't have the skill set that these other companies have, they don't have the deeper pockets. But you know, they are a multi-billion-dollar company, and the funny thing is that what I'm going to talk about is something that they've offered in the past that they've taken away and now basically put behind a paywall. And I just don't understand what there is to defend about that. It's insane to me. But so let's get into it. All right, so we've had ways to back up our saves on video games and consoles since we've had to do that. Obviously, in the first few systems, there have been save options on the cartridges themselves, going up to the NES, Sega Master System era, to Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. You've been able to save your games on the carts themselves, and that was pretty much the only way to do it. But when the technology presented itself of other ways to save games, companies jumped on it, because one thing, adding ROM for memory onto the cartridge adds cost to these companies, so if they can get around that, they will. So when we got to the N64 PS1 era, companies started taking that option to save games to memory cards. Now obviously disc-based systems had no choice. You can't save to the disc because you can't write on the CDs, or you know, in the future we got Blu-rays and DVDs and all that stuff. So that's understandable. So the PS1 came out, you have the memory card that came with it. It's required. This is one of those hidden costs people like to talk about. But if you wanted to save your games, you had to have one of these. And like I said, that was a hidden cost. But you were able to back up your saves. You're safe, obviously. And if you wanted to, if you were worried about maybe your file getting corrupted, because that did happen a few times here and there on these this era of systems, you could buy another card, put it in, and back it up to a different card. Now, obviously, that is a cost that is associated with games of this era, but you know, it was accepted cost because of the disc-based media. You know, you can't save to discs. And on the N64, you could save to the cartridges, but most companies that were third-party companies decided that they didn't, you know, want to add cost to the cartridge itself. They wanted to, you know, put that off onto a memory card. That way, the carts themselves, because they were already expensive, the 64 carts, if they can take that memory, that cost, and put it into, you know, you having to have a memory card in your controller, then that's what you did. So you would take your memory card, Obviously, you'd put it into the memory card slot on your N64, and you would back it up that way. And you can obviously put in different memory cards and back them up that way, and that was acceptable. And like I said, Nintendo first party and second party games did allow you to back up or save your games on the carts themselves. They ate that cost, which was great. That's what you expect the first party company to do in that case, and that's what Nintendo did. And a lot of rare, pretty much all the rare games also did it. So, and there were some third party games that would do it, but for the most part, you were saving to memory cards, and that was your option. And you had to buy the hardware itself, but it was required hardware if you wanted to save your games. And so it was understandable that you had to pay that cost. But it was yours. The memory was yours. You could do whatever you want with it, and it saved every game that was required of it to be saved. To pound this home, you go into the GameCube era, and memory cards again. Obviously, PS2 had the same thing. Original Xbox had a hard drive built in, which was great, so you could save all your games to that. But it also gave you the option of memory cards, so you could save to a memory card through the controller, very much like the Dreamcast. Obviously, it had the Rumble Pack slot, the VMU, which was a pretty cool device. Maybe I'll talk about that in another video. I'm sure everybody who watches me knows what this is, but it was a memory card. Obviously, you can save your games to this. You can back up, into multiple VMUs if you wanted to. That was an option. And obviously for PlayStation, original Xbox, you can do the same thing. And on and on. PS3 came around. They came with hard drives. You could save to that, obviously. And then to save your actual saves, not just the games themselves, but to save your save states that when you play a game, you save it. You could download all that information onto a flash drive and back it up that way. So if something happened, you could pull all your saves back up onto your PS3, on a flash drive, which was great. And the PS4 offers the same thing as well. And they also obviously have cloud saves, which is tied to their service. So even though they do charge for cloud saves, they still allow you a different way to save your games if you don't want to pay for that service through, like I said, a flash drive, which is great. And again, with the Xbox 360, again, you can back up your stuff onto memory cards, and then the Xbox One actually gives you cloud saves for free. So they don't charge you through their service for you to have cloud saves, which is great, because a couple years ago I freaked out because I was worried because my hard drive basically had some weird error on my Xbox One, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh, I'm screwed. All my saves are gone. But somebody in the comment section of one of the videos where I was talking about it said, no, you have cloud saves. Just, reinstall. You have to reinstall all the games, but all your saves will be there through the cloud. And I was like, really? Did it? They were all there. I've probably paid for Xbox Live once for a year, and maybe I got like a 3-month card here and there, stuff like that. But I rarely ever paid for it. Usually when I do that is because a specific game will come out and I have friends that want me to play this, or let's play this with me, and that's when I'll do it. But yearly subscriptions is not something I do. So I don't do it on PS4, don't do it on Xbox One. I've only done it, as you guys know, I'm a teacher. So some of my students I play games with, and they'll ask me to play Fortnite with us, please. And then I have to get the service. But there's really cool deals. I actually got Xbox Live for a month for like $2, literally $2. And it's the gold. So I could go in and download games, and they be mine, forever, basically. So it allowed me to do a gold member type of thing with only paying $2, which was great. So again, my point is that we've always had ways to back up our saves without having to pay the company money through a service. And to me, it's insane that we had to do that for the Switch Online. And I hate to keep talking about this because for some reason this is polarizing, and I don't think it should be. There's nothing really good about having to pay to back up your saves. And the most egregious part of it is that they don't guarantee backup for every game. So you're paying you are being forced to pay if you want to back up your saves. There's no, they don't force you, don't pay for it. Well, I want to be able to back up my saves, something I've done since 1995. When it comes to gaming consoles for free, I want to be able to back up my saves, and they are forcing me to pay to be able to do something that I've been able to do for 20 plus years for free. So there is really no, there's no justification for it. This would be fine. Again, cloud saves charging me for that would be fine if they did what Sony does with the PS4 and give me an option to back up something onto a USB drive, using the USB slot on the Switch's dock, which is something I'm sure would be easy for Nintendo to update and do. And, to me, it's one of the most egregious things about the online service. And I just... it's only $20, but the principle of forcing people to pay to be able to sleep comfortably, that their saves won't, dissipate because, the Switch breaks down. And this is something that you can do on other consoles. Even the 3DS, you could back up your stuff onto a different SD card. On the Wii U, obviously, you could back up your saves to a hard drive. I pulled out my SD card from my Wii. All your saves are on this, and this is not a proprietary thing. We've had proprietary memory to where you had to have to back up stuff, and you basically pay the company for it. But there is an option to not have to do that, especially through an online service. Which if Microsoft of all companies doesn't charge you for cloud saves, which is, something they have to spend money on, through their servers and stuff, having the service to do that. Why is Nintendo charging for something like that? Give me an option to not have to pay for that. I mean, that is just ridiculous. So at this point, again, I don't find the Switch Online service worth it. You can talk about $20 all you want. The principle of it is just, to me, it's just egregious that I have to do these things, and I just don't understand anybody who would defend this stuff. It doesn't register. It doesn't make sense to me. And until the service is, in my eyes, worth it, I'm not going to be buying it. Smash isn't going to make me do it. Sorry. I know a lot of people are making fun of people saying, "Oh, you're going to buy it anyway. Shut up." I mean, are you a consumer? Or are you a corporate cheerleader? Because they're very different. Your voice as a YouTuber should definitely be for the audience, for the gamers, and making jokes about people being forced to buy stuff. It's insane. And coming at me on Twitter, trying to validate this stuff, bad idea. Because I'm a giant that's asleep, and don't wake me. But anyway, that's my take on this. Let me know what you guys think. I know this is semi-polarizing, but I feel that there are things that can't be defended. There is no defense for them other than, oh, it's cheap. That's not a defense for why something is. Saying, oh, it's not that big a deal. It's not a defense. That is the weakest defense. And that is the slippery slope, So you might want to think about that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching and listening, as always. And now, see you fools next time. Peace out.